Good morning, my name's Rick Shapiro. I'm talking to you on this beautiful spring day about a serious topic, and that is the types of diseases that railroad workers have contracted due to exposures to asbestos in the railroad industry. Our firm has represented dozens upon dozens of railroad workers who have been stricken with very serious diseases and cancers associated with their exposure to asbestos in the railroad workplace. Now, we've represented every nature of workers: laborers, engineers, conductors, shop workers. So where were they exposed to asbestos? You may have no idea as a railroad worker where you ever were even exposed to it. One of the reasons is asbestos is so tiny. It's orders of magnitude tinier than a human hair, invisible to the naked eye. There can be a significant amount of asbestos in the air inside a locomotive engine or in a shop that you as a worker would never even know was there. So railroads, like other industries back in the 50s and moving forward, were using asbestos as an insulating material in hundreds of parts, on engines, in shops, in insulating materials in the roof and in the ceilings. And workers were not told of the dangers of it becoming airborne. Now, there are three major diseases that we've represented railroad workers for arising from asbestos. One is asbestosis, which is an unusual scarring of your lungs caused by repeated exposures in your past to asbestos. Workers don't get asbestos disease in a day, a month, or even a year. Typically, asbestos diseases manifest themselves 10 to 60 years after heavy exposure. Now, besides scarring of the lungs, which is called asbestosis, second, there's a horrible terminal cancer called mesothelioma that is only associated with prior exposure to asbestos. What is so dangerous about mesothelioma is it can happen with even minor exposure to asbestos. It doesn't affect the lung, it affects the outer lining of the lung called the pleura. The third disease highly associated with asbestos is lung cancer. Now, lung cancer can be caused by asbestos, but it can also be caused by other things like cigarette smoking. So when workers develop a lung cancer and come to us, ask us to represent them, we have to establish that there's a long-standing exposure to asbestos in addition to any cigarette smoking that they did in the past, because lung cancer is highly increased in cases of persons who smoked cigarettes and also had long-standing exposure to asbestos. That's called a synergy between the cigarette smoking and the asbestos exposure, which makes an increased risk. Now, our law firm has represented all kinds of railroad workers in all those circumstances: asbestosis cases, mesothelioma cases, and lung cancer cases. We know how to put those cases together, and we know what industrial documents for every railroad in the eastern United States show asbestos was in the insulating materials. Many times our clients are totally in the dark and don't know whether they were exposed and when, and we put that information together for our clients. If you have a question about this type of case, please fill in a quick contact on our website or give us a call. If we're in court or in a hearing, we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.